Oh, hi. Just checking on the sound equipment. I'm Marianne Mosley from the Pelican Players, and our Readers Theater is proud to present Old Time Radio. Today's selection is a special holiday treat. It's called It's a Wonderful Life. Enjoy the show.
Welcome. Tonight, Pelican Players, your local community theater for the Sun City Center, Ruskin, Wimauma, and surrounding area, has the pleasure of entertaining you with another show by the Pelican Players Radio Theater Troupe. The cast is made up of local residents. We will introduce the cast following tonight's show. And now, tonight's performance.
Directors Jim Smith and I welcome you to our third Christmas show, brought to you by Pelican Players Readers Theater. The It's a Wonderful Life story was made into a movie adapted from a short story called The Greatest Gift by author Philip Van Doren Stern. The movie was made and released in 1946. In March of 1947, the CBS Lux Radio Theater presented its version of the movie. Do you remember Lux Dry Soap Flakes? The movie was set in Bedford Falls, New York. Don't look it up, it doesn't exist. The inspiration for the location is actually Seneca Falls, New York, located about 40 miles west of Syracuse, New York.
This is the story of George Bailey, citizen of Bedford Falls, New York. George Bailey, who more than anything under the sun wanted to see the world, the wonderful, exciting world that lay somewhere beyond the limits of his hometown. Oddly enough, this story does not begin in Bedford Falls. In fact, it doesn't begin anywhere in the world. It begins in heaven, where the superintendent of angels has just summoned an apprentice angel named Clarence.
Am I really going down to Earth, sir? Oh, that's splendid.
Yes, there's a very discouraged man down there, Clarence. George Bailey. Now, at exactly 10:45 p.m., Earth time, he'll be thinking seriously of ending his life.
Oh, dear, his life.
Now, I want you to stop him if you can. Here, sit down. I'll give you George Bailey's case history.
Sir, if I should accomplish my mission, may I perhaps get my wings? I've been waiting over 200 years now, and, well, people are beginning to talk.
Clarence, what's that book?
The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, sir. I was reading it when you sent for me.
Oh, fine book. Excellent. Well, you do a good job on George Bailey, and we'll see about your wings.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Now listen, when George Bailey was a boy, two events occurred that you should keep in mind. One was when his young brother Harry fell through the ice and almost drowned. George saved him.
George, brother, fell through the ice. George saved him.
Ever since, George has had a bad ear. All that icy water, well, you understand.
A bad ear, yes, sir.
Now, the other event came a few months later. Now, George used to work after school in Mr. Gower's drugstore. One day, Mr. Gower's only son dies of influenza. It was a terrible blow, and poor Mr. Gower tried to lose his grief in whiskey. In fact, one day, Mr. Gower mistakenly put poison pills in a bottle for a patient, and George, having seen this, challenged Mr. Gower, who then realized what happened. Well, Clarence, that was George Bailey as a boy. When George grew up, he wanted to go to college, but there just wasn't the money. So he worked for 4 years in the Building and Loan Association.
Building and Loan Association?
Oh, I forgot to tell you, George's father was in the building and loan business. He and George's Uncle Billy, high ideals and low bank accounts. Anyway, George worked for his father and saved enough to see him to the university. That summer, though, he was going to go to Europe, gotta get a job on a cattle boat, do a little traveling before college. Now, George's father, Peter Pop Bailey, knew that George really wanted to leave Bedford Falls, go to college, explore the world. In the meantime, Henry Potter owns almost everything in the town and wants to destroy the building and loan.
Hey, George, can I borrow your tuxedo studs?
Yeah, help yourself, Harry.
Where are they? In your suitcase?
I'm not taking a tuxedo on a cattle boat, you know.
Say, where'd you get that suitcase anyway?
Oh, Mr. Gower, a going away present. One of these days, you're going to see that bag all covered with travel labels. Italy and Baghdad and Africa.
You're gonna have a pretty full summer, eh?
I'm going to have a pretty full life.
Hey, why don't you come to the dance tonight?
So, George Bailey went to the dance. Is that important, Joseph?
Why, it was at that dance he met Mary Hatch.
Oh.
Now, 3 hours later, he was walking her home. George and Mary were feeling pretty good, Clarence. As a matter of fact, wonderful.
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon?
Hot dog, just like an organ.
At least.
Gee whiz, if it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Well, why don't you say it?
I don't know. Maybe I will say it. How old are you anyway?
18?
18?
Too young or too old?
Oh, no, just right. Your age fits you. Hey, look where we are.
Oh, the old Granville house.
Yeah, gotta throw a rock.
Oh, no, don't. I love that old house.
No, don't you know about deserted houses? You make a wish, then you throw a rock.
George, but it's such a lovely old place. I wish I lived there.
In there? I wouldn't live in it as a ghost. Now watch. Watch this. Here we go. How about it, huh? Good shot, huh? Broke a window, huh?
What'd you wish, George?
Oh, I don't know. Not just one wish. A whole hatful. Mary, I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world. Italy, Greece, the Parthenon, the Colosseum. Then I'm coming back here and go to college and see what they know. And then I'm going to build things. I'm going to build an airfields and skyscrapers 100 stories high and bridges a mile long. And then I'm going to... Hey, Mary, what is it you want? What do you want, huh? You want the moon? All you got to do is just say the word and I'll...
Okay, the moon. I'll take it. Then what?
Then what? Well, then you could swallow it and it dissolve like an aspirin, you know? And moonbeams that shoot out your fingers and the ends of your hair and it... You think I'm talking too much?
George!
Hey, Uncle Billy, look, I'm gonna kiss Mary Hatch.
George, get in the car, quick. I mean, your father's had a stroke.
What? My father's had a...
George, get in, hurry.
Well, George's father died that night, Clarence. So, of course, George couldn't go to Europe. But that fall, just as he was ready to leave for college, the directors of the building and loan had a meeting. They were going to appoint a successor.
You wait a minute. Peter Bailey was not a businessman. Ideals without common sense can ruin a town. What do we get? A discontented, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class.
Now, hold on, Mr. Potter. Wait a minute. I don't like the sound of this.
Oh, I meant no disrespect, George, but that's...
Now, wait a minute here. Why my father ever started this cheap penny-ante building alone, I'll never know. But just remember this, Mr. Potter. This rabble you're talking about. They do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him. But to you, A warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, Mr. Potter, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book, George. I'm talking about the building and loan.
You're talking about something you can't get your fingers on, and it's galling you. That's what you're talking about. Well, this town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can borrow a few dollars without crawling to you. Now, come on, Uncle Billy.
What happened, George?
Boy, oh boy, you should have heard George.
Well, they're in there voting us out of business.
Who cares? I can get another job. I'm only 41.
Will you get out of here, George? You missed your boat trip. Do you want to miss college, too?
Well, the board voted Potter down with the promise that George takes his place.
Appoint me? But I'm going to college. Look, this is my last chance.
I know, George Bailey didn't go to college.
That's right, Clarence. He gave his college money to Harry. Harry went instead.
But what happened to the pretty girl, you know, Mary?
No, George saw her every now and then. Not very often, though, because Mary went away to school, too. Anyway, George waited 4 years more for Harry to come back and take over the building and loan. He could still see the world. He planned to work in the oil fields in Venezuela. Except when Harry came home, he wasn't alone. There was a girl with him, his wife.
George?
I'm out here on the porch, Mother. I thought I'd get some air.
Well, how do you like your new sister-in-law? Looks like she can keep Harry on his toes.
Yep. Keep him out of Bedford Falls, anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, Ruth's father, he's got a wonderful job for Harry up in Buffalo.
Buffalo? Well, that means that you...
Yeah.
Well, you can't.
Yeah.
George, did you know that Mary Hatch is back from school?
Yeah.
Nice girl, Mary.
I'm going out. By the way, you want any books at the library?
George, is that you out there?
Oh, hello, Mary.
Well, aren't you coming in?
I just happened to be passing by.
Oh, I thought you were picketing. Have you made up your mind?
How's that?
Have you made up your mind?
About what?
About coming in. Your mother just phoned, and she said you were on your way over to pay me a visit.
My mother just phoned. What does she mean? I just happened to be passing by, that's all.
Well?
Well, I'll come in for a minute, but I didn't tell anybody I was coming here. A fella can't go out for a walk nowadays without... When did you get back?
Tuesday.
Where'd you get that dress?
Do you like it?
It's all right.
Well, no point standing here on the porch. Come on in.
I still can't understand it. I didn't tell anybody I was coming here, you know.
Would you rather leave?
Oh, no, I don't want to be rude. I'll sit down for a while.
It's nice about your brother and Ruth, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
Don't you like her?
Well, of course I like her. She's a peach.
Oh, it's just marriage in general you're not enthusiastic about, George, on your way out, would you mind turning off the phonograph?
I'll be happy to. Doggone crazy song. Oh, I forgot my hat.
George!
Oh, Mary, darling. I love you, Mary.
Yes, George and Mary were married. George and Mary had just started out on their honeymoon when they ran smack into the financial panic of 1932. In the waiting room of the building and loan, 100 frantic people were clamoring for their savings.
What's going on, Uncle Billy? What's happening? All those people out there.
Oh, this is a pickle, George. I mean, all I know is the bank called in our loan an hour ago. I have to hand over all our cash.
Holy mackerel.
I mean, the whole town's gone crazy. Bank's in the same spot we are.
Our charter.
what about our charter?
Our charter says we have to stay open till 6 p.m. The state can take away our license if we don't.
How can we stay open until 6 o'clock without any money? George, where are you going?
Out to talk to those people. Come on. Please, folks. Now, just a minute. Just a minute now, please. Come on, please. Wait a minute. Now, listen to me. Now, you're thinking of this place all wrong. The money's not here. Wait a minute. Let me tell you. Your money's in people's houses. In the Kennedy's house, and in the Carey's house, and in your house, and in 100 others. Now, what are you going to do? Foreclose on them? Wait a minute. Please, folks, I beg of you not to do this. If Potter gets hold of your shares, he'll be owning this building alone. He's got the bank. He's got the bus line. He's got the department stores. And now he's after us. Because he wants to keep you living in his shacks and paying a kind of rent he decides to charge. Now we can get through this thing, all right? We've just got to stick together. We've just got to put faith in each other. All right. Who's next?
Look at the clock. Look.
5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. 6 o'clock. We made it. Lock the door, quick. Boy, we're still in business, Uncle Billy. We've even got $2 left, huh? Call my wife, will you? Hey, Mary. Listen, Mary. I'm sorry. Come home. What home? 323 Sycamore. Well, what? Whose home is that? What? Well, Mary. How can I? Well, sure. All right. Sure, I'll be there.
Clarence, guess what 323 Sycamore was?
His mother-in-law's house, huh?
Oh, no. Number 323 Sycamore was the old Granville house. The one George threw rocks at and made wishes. Yes, sir. That's where they spent their honeymoon. That's where they started housekeeping. They were still living there 2 years later when Old Man Potter asked George to stop over at his office.
Sit down, George. Sit down. Have a cigar?
Thank you, sir.
George, you're a young man, married, making, say, $40 a week at the building and loan?
45.
45. Now, if you were some ordinary yokel, I'd say you were doing fine. But George Bailey is intelligent, ambitious. He hates the building and loan almost as much as I do. He's been dying to get out on his own ever since he was born, but he's trapped into frittering his life away, playing nursemaid to a lot of lower-class people. Do I paint a correct picture, George, or do I exaggerate?
Well, what's your point, Mr. Potter?
My point is, you're the only man in town who's licked me. George, I want to hire you. Manage my affairs, I'll start you out at $20,000 a year.
$20,000 a year? You sure you're talking to me? I'm George Bailey, remember me? The building and loan, remember?
Yes. George Bailey, whose ship has just come in, provided he has sense enough to climb aboard.
But what about the saving and loan?
Confound it, man. I'm offering you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year. Is it a deal or isn't it?
No, the answer's no, doggone it. If you offered me $1 million to stay around this town and play stooge for you, your answer'd still be no. Now, leave me alone. Don't bother me.
George, what did Mr. Potter want?
Oh, it's nothing. He just talked. Nothing. Oh, gee, Mary Hatch. Mary, why in the world did you ever marry a guy like me anyway?
To keep from being an old maid.
I was going to see the world. I was going to build things. I was going to give you the moon. What have I given you? Not even a new dress. Not for months. Gee whiz, I feel awful.
So do I. Mornings especially.
You could have had anybody else in town.
I didn't want to marry anybody else. I want my baby to look like you.
You didn't even have a honeymoon. I promised you that you're what?
My baby.
But what, Mary? You mean you're on the nest?
Well, Mary had her baby, Clarence. A boy.
You don't say.
Then she had another one, a girl.
Well, what do you know?
And night after night, George would come home late from the office. Things weren't good with the building and loan. Potter was really bearing down on him. Then came the war. Mary had another baby by then.
Oh.
But she still had time to help out. Uncle Billy sold war bonds, and George's brother, Harry, became a real hero. Shot down 15 planes.
But George, what about George?
Well, George was 4F, his bad ear. He was an air raid warden. On VE Day, he wept and prayed. On VJ Day, he wept and prayed again.
We're getting pretty close to today, aren't we, sir?
Yes, Clarence. Now, you now know almost everything you have to know about George Bailey, except what happens that finds him down there at this moment wanting to die.
Well, sir, well?
Well, today's the day before Christmas, Earth time. Now, George is pretty excited.
Hey, look at the paper. Commander Harry Bailey, decorated by the president, my kid brother, the Congressional Medal of Honor. What do you think about that? 15 enemy planes, and the last one he got was just about to dive into a transport loaded with soldiers. You know what that means? He saved lives. Hundreds of lives. Gee whiz, I wish Uncle Billy were here to hear this.
Where is Uncle Billy?
Oh, he's gone to the bank to deposit that $8,000. He put the cash in a newspaper to hide it.
Good. Who's that in his office there?
It's the bank examiner.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Carter. Here are the books for you. You know, that's my brother's picture there, Mr. Carter. He shot down 15 planes.
Well, Mr. Henry Potter. I come to the bank to make our deposits.
Ah, you old fool.
How do you like the news, in this building, Mr. Potter? You just can't keep those Baileys down now, can you?
Hey, let me see that newspaper.
Here. Sorry, I can't chat, you old thief. I mean, I gotta make a deposit. Let's see, deposit slip, bank book, and a very Merry Christmas to you. I've forgotten things all my life. Get a wiggle on, girl.
But, Mr. Bailey, where's the money?
What? What's that?
You want to make a deposit?
Well, certainly I want to.
Well, it's customary to bring money with you.
It's gone. I mean, where'd I put it? Where'd I put the money?
A terrible thing, Clarence. Terrible. Uncle Billy couldn't find the money because the envelope with the $8,000 was folded up in that newspaper he gave to Old Man Potter.
I just don't know what happened to it, George. I just don't know.
$8,000. Uncle Billy, the bank examiner is here. It's not our money. It belongs to the depositors.
George, what are we going to do? I mean, we traced every step I took. We can't stand here in the street.
Are you sure you didn't put that envelope in your coat pocket?
Well, I think so, maybe. I'm no good to you, George. I'm no good.
Now listen to me. Listen to me. Think. Think, will you? Now try and think.
I can't think anymore. I can't think anymore. I can't.
Where's that money, you silly old fool? Where's the money? You know what this means? It means bankruptcy and scandal and prison. One of us is going to jail. Well, it's not going to be me. Now get out of my way. I'm going home.
George, what's wrong? You haven't said a word since you came home.
That banging on a piano. does she have to just keep playing that same piece over and over and over again?
But I have to practice for the Christmas party, Daddy.
What is it, dear? Another hectic day?
Yeah, another red letter day for the Baileys. How's Zuzu?
Oh, she caught a little cold coming home from school. She didn't button up her coat.
Well, what is it? What do you mean a cold?
George, the doctor said it was nothing serious.
The doctor? The doctor was here.
Well, I thought he'd better look at her.
This old drafty house. No wonder we don't all have pneumonia. Might as well be living in a refrigerator. Why do we have to live here in the first place and stay around this measly, crummy town?
George, what's happened?
Everything's happened. You call this a happy family? Why do we have to have all these kids?
Where are you going?
Upstairs to see Zuzu.
Hello? Oh, thank you, Mrs. Welch. I'm sure she'll be all right.
Who's that?
It's Zuzu's school teacher. What? Oh, yes. The doctor says she'll be fine tomorrow.
Here, give me that phone.
George, please.
Mrs. Welch, this is Mr. Bailey. Say, what kind of a teacher are you anyway? What do you mean sending her home like that, half naked? Do you realize she's probably end up with pneumonia just because of your stupidity? Maybe my kids aren't the best dressed kids in town, but at least... Hello? Hello? Janie, will you stop playing that lousy piano? Now cut it out. Stop it.
George, for heaven's sake, what's wrong with you?
I've just got to get out of here.
So, that's it, George. You're short $8,000 in your accounts, eh?
Please, Mr. Potter, I'll pay any sort of a bonus. If you still want the building
you say
alone,
it was lost? Have you notified the police?
No, sir, I haven't done that yet. Harry's homecoming's tomorrow.
What kind of security would I have, George? What collateral?
Yes, sir. I have some life insurance here. A $15,000 policy.
What's your equity in it?
$500.
And you want $8,000? You once called me a warped, frustrated old man. What are you but a warped, frustrated young man, crawling on your hands and knees for help? Why don't you go to that riff-raff you love so well? Ask them to help.
I'll do anything, Mr. Potter. Please help me and my wife and kids.
I'm calling the district attorney. You know something, George? You're worth more dead than you are alive. Now get out of here. Get out!
And all the time, Potter had the $8,000 in his desk drawer. It's still there, Clarence.
But where's George, sir? Where?
Well, he went over to Martini's Cafe. He's had a couple of drinks, Clarence. He's just standing there, sort of in a daze.
Oh, God. Dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, please show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope. Show me the way, God.
And the next time you talk to my wife like that, you'll get worse. It isn't enough she's slaves teaching your stupid kids how to read and write. You got to bawl her out.
Who was that?
It's Mr. Welch. But don't worry, he don't come in this place no more. Oh dear. I'll get something for your face. It's bleeding.
Well, George left Martini's Cafe 5 minutes ago, Clarence. He's at the river now, on the bridge, looking at the water. Are you ready, Clarence?
All ready, sir.
Very well. Save George Bailey's life, and you'll get your wings.
My wings? Oh, thank you, Joseph. George Bailey, get away from that bridge. Do you hear me? George!
Numb with despair, convinced, as Mr. Potter says, that he's worth more dead than alive, George Bailey stands on a bridge, staring at the dark and frigid waters below. Suddenly, there's a splash.
Help! I'm drowning! Help!
No, that's not George. It's Clarence, the apprentice angel. And there goes George in after him. It's a few minutes later now, and in the bridge keeper's shack, George and Clarence are drying off.
You both sure you're all right? You want a doctor?
No, I'm all right.
Oh, I'm fine. This underwear, I didn't have time to get anything more stylish. My wife gave me this on my last birthday. I passed away in them.
You what, mister?
I see Tom Sawyer's drying out, too.
Who?
My book. I left in such a hurry, I brought Tom Sawyer with me.
How'd you happen to fall in?
Oh, I jumped in. I jumped in to save you.
Jumped in to save me?
Well, I did, didn't I? You didn't go through with it, did you?
Go through with what?
Suicide.
Oh, that's very funny.
Your lip's bleeding.
Yeah. I got busted in the jaw in answer to a prayer.
Oh, no, George. I'm the answer to your prayer.
How do you know my name?
Oh, I know all about you.
What are you supposed to be anyway?
Clarence Oddbody, AS2.
Clarence Oddbody? What's the AS2 for?
Angel, second class.
Hey, I'm getting out of here. You may not need a doctor, but I do.
Cheerio, my good man.
Look here, why did you want to save me?
Because I'm your guardian angel, George.
Oh, I see. Well, you look like the kind of angel I'd get. What happened to your wings?
I haven't won my wings yet. That's why I'm an angel second class.
Oh, I see.
But you can help me earn them, George, by letting me help you.
Oh, uh-huh. You don't happen to have $8,000 on you?
Oh, no, we don't use money in heaven.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. Comes in handy down here, Bobo.
Oh, tut.
I found out a little late. You know, I'm worth more dead than alive.
You mustn't talk like that. Joseph will never give me my wings if you keep feeling that way. You just don't realize what you've done for your folks. Why, if it hadn't been for you...
Yeah, if it hadn't been for me, everybody'd be better off. My wife, my kids, and my friends.
Oh, this is not going to be easy.
They'd all be better off if I'd never been born.
What'd you say?
I said I wish I'd never been born.
George, that's wonderful.
Wonderful? What?
The idea that you just gave me. Well, you got your wish. You've never been born.
Never been born?
Exactly. No worries, no $8,000 to get, nothing. You simply don't exist.
All right, okay, all right.
George, I can do things, strange things. I can show you the world, George, the way it would be if you hadn't been born.
Hey, wait a minute. This ear of mine. Hey, say something else in that bad ear.
You don't have a bad ear anymore. Oh, I don't think you're concentrating. Don't you see? You're not the George Bailey you think you are. You're nobody.
Well, that's the doggonest thing I ever saw. That ear...
George, your lips stopped bleeding too, George.
Yeah, hey, what's happening around here? What is this anyway? I need a drink. That's what I need. What about you, Angel? You want a drink?
Well, I don't quite know.
Come on. We'll go as soon as these clothes are dry.
The clothes are dry, George.
Hey, so they are. That's funny. Well, let's get dressed and we'll stroll over to Martini's and... Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stroll, you fly.
No, I don't have my wings.
You don't have your wings. Oh, that's right. I forgot that again. A couple of drinks and we'll both fly.
What do you have, fellas?
Say, Nick, where's the boss? Where's Martini?
Look, wise guy, I'm the boss, see?
Okay, well, a double scotch. Quick, will you?
And what's yours?
You know what I just love? Some mulled wine.
Huh?
Heavy on the cinnamon and light on the cloves. Off with you, my lad, and lively now.
Hey, look, mister, we serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast. And we don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere. Is that clear? Or do I have to slip you my left for a convincer?
Now, come on. Just give him the same as I ordered. He's okay.
Yeah, 2 double scotches.
What happened to this place? It's all changed.
All of Bedford Falls has changed. You're having your wish, George. You've never been born. Oh, there'll be lots of things you've never seen before. Oh, good. Somebody just made it.
Made what?
Every time a bell rings, it means that some angels got his wings.
What'd you say?
Look, Clarence, I don't think you better talk about angels around here.
Don't they believe in angels?
Yeah, they believe in them, but, you know...
Then why should people be surprised when they see one?
Don't mind him, bartender. He's just a little fellow, never grew up. How old are you anyway, Clarence?
Well, next May, I'll be 293.
All right, that does it. Out, you two prixies. Go through the door or out the window.
Look, Nick, where's Martini? Will you tell me?
And that's another thing. Where'd you get off calling me Nick? And stop asking about Martini. He ain't here. Hey, you Rummy. Didn't I tell you never to come panhandling around here?
George, look.
It's Mr. Gower. Mr. Gower, listen, Mr. Gower. Don't you know me? This is George Bailey. Hey, bartender, that's Mr. Gower, the druggist.
Yeah, that rumhead spent 20 years in jail for poisoning a kid. If you know him, you must be a jailbird yourself. Binky, here's 2 more. Get 'em out of here. Hey, look at me. I'm getting my wings.
Get up, George. Good thing he threw us in a snowbank, huh?
Where's Mr. Gower?
Mr. Gower doesn't know you, George. You see, you weren't there to stop him from putting that poison into that prescription.
What do you mean I wasn't there? Look, tell me, what are you, a hypnotist?
George.
Well, why am I seeing all these strange things here?
Don't you understand? It's because you were not born.
And then if I wasn't born, who am I?
Nobody. You have no identity.
What do you mean I have no identity?
No papers, no driver's license, no 4F card, no insurance policy.
Where's Zuzu's bell?
What?
Zuzu's bell. I bought my little girl a bell to hang on a Christmas tree, and I forgot to give it to her. I've got it in my... It's gone. It's gone, too. Everything's gone.
But you've been given a great gift, George. A chance to see what the world would be like if you'd never been born.
You're crazy. You're crazy as a bedbug. You're driving me crazy, too. Now, look, I'm going home and see my wife and family. Do you understand that? And I'm going home alone.
Better not leave him alone, Clarence. Keep following him.
Joseph. Oh, I'll stay near him, sir. Poor George. He's seeing Main Street now the way it'd be if he hadn't lived. The thing that's really shocked him, sir, is the building and loan office. Know what's there now? Pawn shop.
All right, what's he doing? Can you see?
He's talking to Ernie Bishop, the taxi driver. He wants to go home.
Well, you'd better tag along, Clarence.
Oh, I will, sir. I will.
Come on, Clarence. Get in the car. Step on it, will you, Ernie? Get me home. I'm off my nut.
Where do you live, buddy?
Now, doggone it, Ernie. Don't you start pulling that stuff on me. 323 Sycamore.
323 Sycamore?
Yeah, hurry up. Zuzu's sick.
Okay, buddy.
Hey, look, Ernie. I don't know what's happening. I'm going crazy or something. I got some bad liquor. Now, look. Tell me this. Now, you Ernie Bishop, right? And you live with your wife and kid down in...
You've seen my wife?
What do you mean, seen your wife? I've been to your house 100 times. What do you... We built it for you, didn't we?
Listen, bud. My wife took the kid and ran away 5 years ago. And I ain't never seen you before in my life, see?
Okay, Ernie. Okay. Get me home. Mary, where are you? Mary, where are you? Janie, Petey, Zuzu, where are you?
This is just an old abandoned house, George. You have no wife, no children.
Where are they? What have you done with them?
There you are. Officer Burt. I told you.
All right, now put up your hands.
Oh, Burt, Officer Burt, thank heavens you're here.
Look, now why don't you be a good fella and we'll take you to a doctor.
Burt, now listen to me. What's the matter with you guys? Now listen, it's that fella there. He says he's an angel. He's tried to hypnotize me.
Oh, I hate to use my nightstick, but I guess I ought to. Oh, ow!
Run, George, run. He can't hit you while I'm biting him. George, run. My teeth aren't what they used to be. Joseph, help. Joseph!
Hey, where'd he go, Ernie? Where'd they go?
I don't know. They just disappeared.
Clarence.
Oh, Joseph, I hope you don't mind my calling on you like I did.
Well, it was very irregular, Clarence. All right, you're by yourself again. Where's George?
He's at his mother's house, sir.
Well, if George hadn't been born, then he has no mother.
Oh, he's being very stubborn, sir. He'll just have to find out these things for himself.
But his mother, that's a terribly bitter blow for a man, his own mother not knowing it.
You mean I shouldn't have left him?
I mean, you'd better find him right away. Oh, and stop biting policemen, Clarence.
I'm here again, George.
My mother. My own mother didn't know me. If only Harry were here. My brother were only back from Washington.
Your brother fell through the ice and drowned at the age of 9.
That's a lie. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor. He saved the lives of every man on that transport.
Every man on that transport died. Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. Don't you see, George? You really had a wonderful life. Don't you see what a mistake it would be to throw it away?
Clarence.
Yes?
Where's Mary? Please, where's my wife?
Oh, I'm not supposed to tell.
Tell me where she is.
You're not going to like it, George.
Where is she? I'll choke it out of you if I have to. Where's my wife?
At the library. She works there. She's just about to lock up for the night. So George, come back. Oh, there must be some easier way for me to get my wings.
Mary.
I'm sorry, but the library's closed.
Mary, it's George. Don't you know me?
No, I don't know you, and let me go.
Mary, please, don't do this to me, Mary. Please help me. Help me. Where are our kids? I need you, Mary.
Get away from me.
Please.
Please. Help. Help.
Help me. Help me, Mary. I'm George.
Ah!
Mary.
Clarence?
Oh, where is he, Joseph? Where's George? I'm afraid I've lost him, sir.
You knew you shouldn't have let him try to see Mary. Now they're after him. A mob. They think he was trying to hurt her.
Joseph, I won't even get one wing, will I?
All right, you have one more chance, Clarence. Get over to the bridge by the river. I think George has seen just about enough.
But the mob.
Don't worry, they've lost him too. Now hurry up.
Oh, thank you, Joseph. Thank you.
Clarence, where are you?
I'm here, George.
Help me, Clarence. Get me back. I don't care what happens to me. Only get me back to my wife and kids. Please. I want to live again.
Oh, thank you, George. Thank you, boy.
I want to live again. Please, God, let me live again.
George, is that you down there, George?
Now, get out of here, Bert. Get out of here. You come any closer and I'll let you have
What the Sam Hill you yelling for, George?
Come on. George? Bert, you know me?
No, you. I've been looking all over town for you. Where you been?
Hey, Bert, I'm alive again, Bert.
You sure you're all right? Hey, your mouth's bleeding.
It is? Hey, my mouth's bleeding. Bert, look at that blood come out of there. Will you? And Zuzu's Christmas bell. Bert, I had them in my pocket. Here it is. Hey, it's in my pocket. What do you know about that? Hey, Merry Christmas, Bert.
Well, Merry Christmas. Get in the car, I'll drive you home.
You will, Bert? Will you do that? And turn the sirens wide open, huh? Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Merry Christmas, Old Building and Loan. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. Yippee! I'm home! Come on. Hey, Bert, come on inside with me, huh? Who are these people? They're reporters? What? Hey, whoa. Oh, Merry Christmas, reporters. Hey, Mr. Bank Examiner, Merry Christmas. Isn't it wonderful? Merry Christmas. Hey, where's Mary? You know, look at this wonderful old drafty house. Isn't it wonderful? Have you seen my wife? Where's Mary? Mary!
Daddy, Merry Christmas, Daddy!
Hey, kids, Janie, Petey, oh, I could eat you up. Where's your mother?
George, darling,
Mary!
George, where have you been?
Mary, I just want to touch you.
Oh, George.
Oh, Mary. Oh, you're real, Mary. You've no idea what's happened to me.
You have no idea what's happened either. They're on their way here.
Oh, who's on their way? The police department, the FBI, the National Guard? I'm alive again, Mary. Listen, Mary, I'm alive again.
Oh, yes, darling, yes. Now close your eyes and come on downstairs.
What is it? Can I open my eyes, Mary? What's going on here?
Now keep your eyes closed. I'll just walk you over by the Christmas tree and...
People. I hear lots of people. What is it?
Just
people.
Just 1 minute now. We're all ready now. Uncle Billy, come in, everybody.
George, hey, look. Just look.
Uncle Billy.
Money, George. A laundry basket full of money. Money for you. Mary did it, George. Mary.
What's that? What money?
People heard you were in trouble, darling. And these people, your friends, they've collected this money for you. The $8,000.
Hey, there's Miss Martinez. Everybody. What money? This is wonderful. There's Miss Martinez. Mr. Shower. Hey, Mother. Hi, Mother. Hey, Mrs. and Harry.
I got Mary's telegram, George. I flew in as fast as I could. Hey, everybody, a toast. How about a toast? Good idea, Ernie. A toast to my big brother, George, the richest man in town.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne?
Daddy, my Christmas bell. You didn't forget.
Forget? Here, honey. Here's your bell.
Darling, what's this on the table here? What's this book?
Oh, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
There's something written in it.
Dear George, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings. Love, Clarence.
Clarence?
Yeah, he's a very dear friend of mine.
Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right, Zuzu. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence. Happy landing.
Directors Jim Smith and I, Ken Winter, thank you for listening to tonight's performance of It's a Wonderful Life. Our cast was Paul Ansel as Joseph, Ken Kidd as Clarence, Jimmy Sapia as George Bailey, Kim Drogue as Mary Bailey, Fred Charo as Uncle Billy Bailey. Leslie Stoll played the roles of Jamie Bailey, Zuzu Bailey, the bank teller, and Mrs. Bailey, George's mother. Dan Tackett played the parts of Bert the cop, Mr. Potter, Nick the bartender, and Mr. Welch. The characters of Ernie the cab driver, the bridge keeper, Mr. Martini the bartender, and Harry Bailey, George's brother, were played by Kenny Vega. Kathy Stevens was the announcer. Sound engineer was Jim Smith. Sound effects were done by Kathy Stevens and Ken Winter, with post-production by Ed Brown. We also thank Ed Brown for some of the original sound and sound effects used in tonight's performance.
It has been challenging during this COVID-19 era to find space for auditions, rehearsals, and recordings for these broadcasts. We want to thank the Sun City Center United Methodist Church, Fiore's Restaurant, St. John the Divine Episcopal Church, and Firehouse Cultural Center in helping us out during this time. Please be safe and stay well. And thanks again for listening. Good night.